Yeah, Salakia Akim, the phone cut out. But it says, to my mother's disappointment, this opportunity to be vindicated in the face of my dad's occasional efforts to have clear out never came to pass. My own history as a prepper, meanwhile, shows definite signs of generational decline. In New York, I lived through the incredible 2.5 hour blackout of 2019, in which the lights of Broadway went out and people kept themselves together by singing old-timey songs and wondering if it was okay to order pizza. The answer to that was slightly shockingly yes. Back then, I had an outdated emergency bag in the closet stocked with baby formula and tiny bottles of water, and I made a promise to myself that night that in the event of another disaster, I would not be reliant on a torch in the shape of a ladybird or use my last 2% of phone battery to look at Twitter. All right. She's just trying to be wordy. This is kind of an annoying article to read. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, it's good to read this shit because you can see what people's mindset is. This is the type of person that's gonna bug all the way out in Jacob's trouble and ultimately when the nukes hit. Okay, because the Lord is not with these Edomites. All right, and even 2/3 of our own people, they're gonna be destroyed on that day, man. All right, but let's keep reading. It says that promise needs refreshing. We live in a new world now, one in which defense spending takes priority over foreign aid. Russia is once again a threat to Europe, and the U.S. can't be relied upon to save us. In the French government booklet, there will reportedly be emergency numbers, radio channels, and encouragement should the need arise to get involved in civil defense type efforts, including volunteer firefighting. Okay, and they're talking about all this shit like it's just gonna be a routine thing, man. It's not, bro. Okay, and we're just gonna go into the scriptures, man. I don't want to read any more of this silly article. Okay, but it just shows the mindset people have. You have a lot of preppers out here talking about, the same shit. Like, oh, I got chickens, I got eggs, I got 10 years worth of food, and 10 years worth of this, and 10 years worth of that. I got internet out here in my log cabin. I got enough money to last me the rest of my life because I live out here in the woods and blah, blah, blah. That's not going to matter. In the day of the Lord, what's going to matter is the spiritual things, man. Are you right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, or are you ordained for destruction, man? Because the scriptures have said that this day would come for a very long time, and it's finally going to come. Okay, it's almost here. Like I said, we're just waiting for the MLTB to be mandated. And then any day, very soon, that destruction will take place shortly thereafter. Okay, Lord's will, sometime soon, this MOTB is mandated. Okay, but with that being said, we're going to go to 2nd Ezra 16, and we're going to start at verse 40. Verse 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. All right, so this is the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, when all hell breaks loose. All right, it's going to be a free for all out here. The economy is going to go down. Okay, you're going to have people breaking into each other's houses with the sword, which the modern day sword is the gun. All right, they're going to be putting their neighbors to death for lack of bread. Okay, the morale is going to go right out the window, man. You're not going to be able to trust anybody. All right, everywhere is going to be the hood, man. Worse than the hood. Okay, you could be in the nicest suburb. It's not going to matter where you are. Okay, it's every man for himself out here. Okay, when this happens, and ultimately, you know, the Lord told us to be as pilgrims upon the earth, right? So you got to be ready to move quick. All right, so this shit about prepping for 10 years and having stockpiles of guns and ammo and food and water and all that shit, that's going off. If you do that, you're going to be destroyed, okay? Because, the scriptures talks about that, man. All right, it says be pilgrims, okay? And we're going to go into it. Verse 41, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. You see, you buy all this shit, you're going to lose, man, because it doesn't matter. Okay, when all hell breaks loose, the only thing that's going to protect you is the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, verse 42 says, He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. Right? You could build a house, you can have all this stockpile and shit. Hey, it's gonna be violently taken away from you, man. Right? Because these days that are coming, it's not gonna be laws like it is now. It's not gonna be peaceful times, man. It's gonna be a time like no other. The time of Jacob's trouble, man. And ultimately, you know, it's going to turn into Esau's trouble too. Okay? But first, it starts with us. All right? Our people are going to get fucked up. All right? But the elect will be preserved. Right? This is Psalms 20, verse 7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses. But we will remember the name of Yahweh, our power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see? And that's why it's important to know the name of the Lord and be sincere in this truth. All right, because we're gonna call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in the day of trouble, and the Lord is gonna deliver us, man. Okay, because ultimately, we're not gonna be saved because of our weapon. If you got a weapon, right, you're not gonna be saved. If you prep, you're not gonna be saved. If you know jujitsu or boxing, that's not gonna save you, man. All right, and prepping damn sure ain't gonna save you, man. There is no prepping, man. Okay, you can now you can buy a little extra food in case there's a blackout, but ultimately that's not really Jacob's trouble, man. Jacob's trouble is when all hell breaks loose, and it's a free for all out here. There ain't no preparing for that, man. You might buy a few cases of water and find out while you're at the plantation that all hell's breaking loose outside, and you can't return to your house. So you stored up all these things in vain, man. All right, so we got to have the right mindset going into this thing. It's all about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Ezekiel 7 and 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword. All right, all you preppers that are out there in the field, the field represents the wilderness, okay, the woods, whatever y'all like to call it. You go out there, you build your little log cabins, you build your little sheds. You got all this stockpile in there. You think you're safe out there. You got your internet connection. You're out here giving out all these news updates. Hey, that's great and all, but at the end of the day, if the Lord is not with you, you're gonna get broken into, and your stockpile is gonna belong to somebody else very quickly, very easily, man. And that's what it's talking about here. It says, and he that is in the city, right? You city slickers and people that live in just regular society. It says, famine and pestilence will devour him, right? You're going to have lack of bread, right? You're going to have man-made famines and natural famines as well, okay? Food, the shelves are going to be empty, all right? And pestilence, you got this bird illness. You got the one that starts with an M. You got multiple illnesses going around, and they're talking about a multiple illness emergency. All right, so imagine 2020 on steroids, man. You got all that happening at once, a time like no other. All right, you're gonna damn sure have a military presence out here eventually to mandate the MOTB in the midst of all hell breaking loose, man. What do you think you're gonna do in all that chaos? You think you can prepare for that by boxing in front of the mirror and going to the gun range and stockpiling a bunch of food? Okay, this is an event that you can't prepare for. It's never happened before, and it'll never happen again, man. All right, let's get that. That's Jeremiah 30. Let's get Jeremiah 30 and verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. So it's asking you, does a man give birth? Does a man have a child? All right, like a woman does? Okay, obviously the answer is no. It says, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness, right? So You see how when a woman is giving birth, she puts her hands on her loins, okay, and she makes that face of agony and pain. Hey, that's how grown ass men are gonna be looking like bitches out here. All right, and Jacob's trouble. Grown men are gonna be terrified. All right, like women giving birth, they're gonna look like that. All right, their face, their body language is gonna give off those vibes. Okay, their face is gonna be turn to paleness. Why? All right, verse 7. It says, alas, because, and this is why. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? So that day is great, man. This ain't like, you know, a blackout that happened in New York. This ain't like the time that the Soviet Union was, going to war, and people were they had these manuals and fucking how to survive a nuclear attack, this and that, whatever, whatever. There's not gonna be a way to prepare for it, man. All right. Uh, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right. So in the midst of all hell breaking loose, Yahweh Shai is gonna return. All right. These nations are gonna be put down. All right. And of course, America will be destroyed. Uh, by 200 million nuclear missiles, according to Revelation chapter 9. So, basically, these are the things that are going to happen. And these people out here, they want comfort in all the wrong things. They want comfort in, uh, carnal things, man. Okay? But, we get our confidence, all right? Those who are sincere in this truth, we get our confidence from the scriptures, man. From this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Okay, because remember, Psalms 111 and 10 tells you the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. Right? So, you got to fear the Lord. You got to want to obey him and do what is required of us. All right? Now, we know we're saved by faith through Yahweh Shai, okay, but we still got to keep the law to the best of our ability. We got to try to live as righteous as we can in this wicked world while maintaining the faith in Yahweh Shai. Keep staying humble, praying without ceasing, okay? Just living this truth, man, okay? If you have the ability to teach, you ought to be teaching, okay? And, you know, that's basically what we're required to do, man. We know if we keep doing that, all right, we keep praying, believing, all right, we have a good chance of being the elect, man, because ultimately we don't make that decision. The Lord, Yahweh, chose uh, these men from the foundation of the world, the 144,000, all right, and then the rest of the 1/3 of Israelites that's going to be saved on this side, okay, which, I always say, Lord's will, Lord willing, I'll be one of them. Okay, uh, we're gonna have confidence in this truth. Okay, because we're telling you right now that you could go out to the store in the middle of the night and not have to worry about getting destroyed. We're telling you what's gonna happen, and then when it does happen, you're gonna remember and know that a prophet was among you. All right, and while you're freaking the fuck out because you didn't listen, we were already prepared for this stuff mentally, physically, spiritually, in every way, because the Lord is preparing us for it, man. Okay, we may not be in the best physical shape. All right, we may not be, uh, we may not have stockpiles of food, but the Lord is going to give us all these things we need. We don't have to, do carnal things to protect ourselves on that day, man. All right. Um, but yeah, I want to finish with this is Psalms 20 and 7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, our power. Okay, so again, we're going to call upon the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, be as pilgrims on the earth, be ready to move. Okay, and just let the Lord be your guide. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai will guide us, to these bunkers and to these preppers' homes once they get destroyed by the sword. Okay, you know, Hey, those preppers that have 10 years worth of food, all right, the elect is gonna stumble across that, man. All right, you know, you might have a prepper that got put to death, and then the guy that took his stockpile got put to death. Next thing you know, that guy died of an illness or you know, the sword and you know in the middle of the field, and that stockpile just gets left there, and you know you might get guided over there